Katt Williams' tantrums were more than just a show. The bombs he was dropping caught people off guard. This time, he wasn't simply targeting the entire business. The one was Beyoncé. According to Katt, the queen herself is keeping silent about something that might fundamentally change how the public views Jay-Z, DMX, and the crooked power structures that exist in the music business. You see, this goes well beyond rap feuds and record deals. Katt claims that Beyoncé is aware of the real reason why DMX wasn't there. She is not only aware of it, but it seems that she is keeping it from her husband to protect him. Now let's return. Over a long period of time, DMX was more than just another rapper trying to establish himself. Quick succession of 5 consecutive #1 albums, no one had ever done that before. Not Jay, not Nas, not Eminem. Along with the pure fire and sorrow in his voice, DMX had a level of fan devotion that money could not buy. Nevertheless, his career took a sharp turn for the worse the moment Jay-Z became president of Def Jam. Despite all that authority, could this be a coincidence? DJ's previous right-hand guy, IRV GTI, says no. Jay was in danger, he says. Not inspired, not intimidated, not driven. Instead of cooperating, Jay reportedly started to undermine. Other types of sabotage include canceled promotions, delayed albums, and silent activities. Imagine this now. DMX is preparing to release his 6th album at the top. In addition to finishing the album, he also shoots the music video for the lead single. When Jay calls him, he says, "Hey, how are you?" And on a high note. Then there was quiet on the radio. Nothing, no updates, no launch. According to DMX's radio complaint, he feels as though Jay left him to deteriorate. Asserted that he didn't. Needs special treatment and should be treated the same as everyone else. But that was apparently asking for too much. And the darkness starts at this point. Witnesses said that because DMX was out of control, Jay wanted him out of the picture. Unlike other musicians, DMX has little interest in politics or kissing the ring. He never made a show of being submissive or bowed. That made him dangerous in a system that encourages obedience. If you believe Katt Williams, that's exactly why Jay stopped things. Not just on his career, but on him. According to Katt, he identified with DMX because he was in that circumstance himself. The same blackballing, the same rejection for raising your voice. Hollywood tried to shame Katt for not supporting some of their objectives, especially the one involving that insulting Santa scene in Friday After Next, and Katt has been vocal about it. He refused to do a humorous scene with an assault theme. Frank in front of everybody, and everything changed when he did. The number of roles decreased. The invitations stopped coming in, just as with X. But when you take into account what is being said about Beyoncé, the whole story takes a risky turn. She is aware of DMX's actual fate, according to multiple sources. Worse, she may know about Jay's previous questionable behavior. Over the years, others are now exploring the words of her song Daughter, which describes someone in a restroom splattering blood over her designer garment. It sounds like art until you realize it's a mirror copy of the location where DJ's purported pregnant mistress Kathy White was found dead, said to have been brought on by a brain aneurysm, but conspiracy theories disagree. Jaguar Wright is next. She went on the attack in an interview, claiming that Jay and Beyoncé had accomplished considerably more behind closed doors than the public knows. From concealing deaths and holding people hostage to undermining efforts like surviving R. Kelly. Everything has something to do with the Carters, Jaguar said. You could call her crazy if she weren't providing names and dates with such brutal precision. Thus, when Katt asserts that Beyoncé is speaking the truth, he is not merely speculating. He thinks that the silence is intentional, and that DMX's story will remain concealed deeper than anyone is ready to admit until she speaks. Jay-Z did more than only influence people's professional paths. He allegedly flipped the entire board. When someone broke his rules and DMX was the most vocal opponent, According to Irv GTI's, fears extended beyond X's exceptional rapping abilities. He was obviously jealous. The man witnessed DMX rise to fame, light up the streets, and gain a level of devotion that Jay would never be able to buy. That was really hot. Irv claims that Jay would ask straight out, "You think he's better than me?" The question was also not rhetorical, as the neighborhood grew more sympathetic to his ex's broken growl than to Jay's rich bars. Jay sought proof that he was the one, but his reaction became more awkward. What hurts most is the story of the trio record that never got out. The release of DMX, Jay-Z, and Ja Rule's joint album, Three Titans on One Record, was planned. Ja was in and X was down, but Jay seemed suddenly bored. According to Irv, Jay pulled out because he couldn't stand to be outperformed lyrically. Imagine being so terrified of getting bodied on a track that you want to ruin the entire production. It isn't a tactic. That is ego with a deity complex. And because of the same ego, Jay is believed to have isolated, eliminated, and finally outmaneuvered DMX to the point of irreparability. But keep in mind that DMX wasn't perfect. He battled pain, trauma, addiction, demons, and other genuine problems. But this is where everything gets insane. According to the marketed plot, X plunged into a downward spiral on his own. Labels didn't want to invest in him. On the radio, he stopped spinning. They said he was unstable. On closer inspection, though, you can see that none of it started until Jay took over. The golden child before it was DMX. After that, he became a liability. The transition was too smooth and too sudden. Beyoncé, on the other hand, stayed out of the public commotion. However, insiders said she was well informed. In addition to DMX, there are other events. Jay has a history of being involved in shady rumors. You see, Kathy White's death is still under suspicion. She was reportedly pregnant with Jay's child when she tragically died of a brain aneurysm. Although pathologists said it was natural, many who knew her said she was content, healthy, and prepared to go public. Then there's the peculiar Beyoncé's candid words seem much too specific to be symbolic. After she spills blood on the upscale bathroom, her fan helps her clean it. If it's just creative writing, someone should explain why the timings work so well for Kathy's situation. Jaguar Wright even threw gasoline on the fire, accusing Beyoncé and Jay of suppressing victims and using their power to conceal documents that the majority of people are unable to view. Jaguar asserts that it has personal experience with victims who are still too afraid to come forward. She's not just speculating. No one else is willing to connect events, give names, or define boundaries like she is. And when you actually think about it, it starts to feel more like a terrible possibility that no one wants to talk about out loud than a conspiracy. Katt Williams, he has no fear anymore. After being attacked, made fun of, and barred from society, the man is still alive. He has been criticizing the industry for years. But this is a personal DMX issue. He said he could relate to X since they were both punished for being honest. People listen to him when he says Beyoncé is hiding the truth because of this. He has been right about Weinstein, questionable transactions, and the individuals in control in the past, not because he is perfect. And if he's right this time, that means that one of the most influential couples in the business is sitting on bodies instead of just secrets. Katt Williams' inclusion in this scenario was no coincidence. He has been collecting information such as facts, anecdotes, receipts, and whispers that the industry believed would be kept secret. He has seen others vanish for decades at the hands of powerful individuals. Not in every circumstance, but in terms of standing profession. Made the mistake of taking a stand in a workplace that promotes conformity. The frightening thing, according to those who spoke up, was that DMX never folded. He had never played the game. And some believe that's why he was constantly under pressure, physically, mentally, and spiritually. According to those close to him, the man never got the help he deserved because the industry refused to help. They wanted him gone as discreetly as they could, preferably without making a mess. When that didn't work, he persisted in speaking out and exposing the scam. The drugs were made available with ease. One weapon was the media. The system did what it was supposed to. Jay has, of course, denied any wrongdoing. He has publicly acknowledged his love and appreciation for DMX, as well as their common past. But the stories that keep coming up don't sound like love, okay? They sound like rivalry, dishonesty, and erasure. And despite everything, Beyoncé doesn't say a word, doesn't care, and doesn't care. However, quiet is not passive or strategic. Rather, it is intentional, according to Katt and Jaguar Wright. As you can see, the idea that Beyoncé is also involved in dirty activities is becoming more and more popular, not just in a symbolic way. Her lyrics, her calm manner, and her remarkable ability to avoid danger, even when she was so close to it, are what people notice. In addition to protecting Jay, there are accusations that she is actively cleaning up after him. Kathy White's case. According to others, Beyoncé was aware of it and may have taken action. Furthermore, even if her song's lyrics seem to acknowledge a violent bathroom scenario, many don't see that as artwork. They see it as arrogance, as though she's asking the world to figure it out. This couple's empire is linked to thousands of potential victims. Jaguar Wright continued, women who were silenced, those who were bought off, and those who just disappeared. She claims that Jay's support of the same financial institution that assisted in R. Kelly's incarceration to settle personal scores is the worst thing. Not for justice, but for retribution. All of this paints a picture of a world that is rarely seen. A world where chart spots are bought, loyalty is enforced, and silence is valued. Where if you don't complete your mission, you're either wiped or replaced. Those that try to talk like DMX like a cat are labeled as unstable, difficult, or crazy. But perhaps they are just telling the truth. Now, the question there is more to it than DMX sabotage. The real question is how many others have been. How far would these industry titans go to keep that list from growing or ever being released to the public? It's possible that Katt Williams is messy. Even if he is crazy, he is not lying to get favor. He's seen too much, heard too much, and gone through too much. And if he says Beyoncé knows the truth about what happened with DMX, maybe it's time for the rest of the world to take notice.